How have you been today? Let's
Uh,
start there.
how have I been today? It's Thursday, the day before our Brave Talk Friday, when we record, and it's already been a very busy week. Like, it's October. It's near the end of October, and it just feels like it's a very busy time of year already with all the happenings of the school year, and then, of course, the holiday that's coming right now, which is Halloween, which is the focus of our talk today. How are you? What are you doing for Halloween?
Oh, good question. I haven't even got that far. I'm sure I'll be on the Stanley Halloween trail at some
Mm,
point. Um, but I think it's a really interesting time, the holidays in general for us and how we work clinically, because it's such a big time and there's so much family and there's so many events and there's so many expectations as well. Lots of opportunity for fun, but also lots of anxiety provoking situations.
I think there is a lot of excitement wrapped up in the holiday. I think here, as in other places in the world, it might be more than one day, which it is here. So we're really preparing kids for a multitude of events, um, some in school, a lot outside of school. This year, by the way it's falling, Halloween is actually on a Friday, but there's still a lot of events before the actual Halloween day. So Halloween feels like a 2 week celebration here in Hong Kong every year, no matter what day it falls on. But we really want our kids to participate and enjoy it from when they're really little to being older and being able to go out independently with their friends.
Yeah, and I think the decorations as well can be a little bit overwhelming here. Coming from a Brit who, we don't do Halloween like you guys do over in the States. So it's definitely a lot. The office looks lovely, by the
Thank
way,
you.
very
Yes.
festive.
Yes, one of the things we like to do is decorate the office for all holidays just to make it more welcoming to the kids. I think also just to get them in the mindset of what we're amping it for, what our preparation is, so they get excited. And also so we desensitize them to some of the little things. Like there's
Mhm.
definitely a fuzzy spider in the office and some cobwebs that even some of our clinicians do not like to see. But again, we believe in exposure therapy, and it's a fun time to put it out there and have them get used to it. And know that it's supposed to be a very happy time filled with candy and laughter and that little frightful fun. So one little anecdote today is we had a little group of kids and we were talking about expected behaviors for Halloween and kind of what they typically do for Halloween, but also how to also behave in expected ways, meaning what do they do if they get a piece of candy they don't like? What do they do if there's a big group of kids there? How much candy should they take, at a time? Little things like that that we don't always discuss with every kid, but it's really nice to kind of give that preparation. So one of the things we did is my assistant, Fauna, was working in her little cubby, and she has a curtain that kind of blocks the door. And we were like, oh, we'll start practicing. And we were talking about the appropriateness or unexpected behavior when to scare someone, when not. And
I love that. It's
and
so good.
and all of their faces lit up with the idea of shouting boo to her unexpectedly. And mind you, these are mostly SM kids who've been in treatment. So anything yelling and adding in some kind of spontaneous exposure requires shouting in public to scare someone in a group is, something unplanned but also really fun. So I got them all quiet, and I was like, okay, just trying to line them all up to go out the door of the office. And I was like, okay, when we go out there, stand there. And then I go, 1, 2, 3, and just like, boo. And then one kid, who's not SM, who was joining today, was like, chatting away,
I couldn't stop.
we're all being quiet. Oh my God, yeah.
It's
Making
so
fun.
funny though when you have to tell the SM kids to be quiet. Like then
Yes.
you really know that you're
SM
doing
or
something
not, like
well.
we know it's working in treatment when they're told that they have to be quiet at certain times. So they go out, like tiptoe out of the office, and you totally hear like a tiny bit of shuffling, no matter how quiet children try to be. They're never quiet. They're all there, and mind you, it's a curtain that's kind of keeping close to the velvet curtain. they all line up, and I'm like, 2, 3, signaling them, and I go, pow, and like one of them pulls the curtain. She's like, I heard a little rumbling, but their faces were so excited, and it's really trying to make Boo not be so scary, but also just get them out of their shell. That was a unexpected kind of practice that we had today. That was really, it was just very joyful for all of them, which was really cute.
And the great thing about Halloween as a holiday is that the treats are so plentiful that you've got like the external reward really there already. You don't have to work that hard for it.
Absolutely. So, and the idea that you get to dress up as something that you want to dress up as, whether it be, a princess, or you want to be something powerful like a superhero, or, a lot of the schools here will do dress up as your favorite storybook character. So again, it's trying to be something else and using your creativity. So it's really fun because it almost can take on that other persona. I think that's one of my favorite things about it. And, for little kids, a lot of trick-or-treating's done before dusk. So dark out. So it removes a lot of the scariness from it, I think. And again, the reinforcement of getting all this candy, whether they get to eat it all or not, it's just fun. So are practicing with them ahead of time so they're able to say trick or treat in these situations. And they've done it so many times with us, thinking about, staying near their caregivers or going in the group or saying thank you afterwards. So kind of those little steps that we might not have to review with all other kids to be able to prepare them so they can have a successful experience is really fun.
What would you say to parents whose kids are having a hard time wanting to dress up or put on a costume and it feels too difficult for them?
I feel like for kids who are resistant to putting on a costume because they can't decide what to be, they might need some scaffolding or some idea generation from you to kind of think of different options. I think I'd be really flexible. I would say sometimes family costumes or you kind of being similar to your kids. I do have one kid who's in today who she's not dressing like her mom, but her sister and her mother are going to be both the same thing. Mermaids, which I thought was really sweet. And that's really a way to help show your support for your kid is by you getting in on it. A lot of families will do kind of themed costumes. I think that helps too because it makes it not you're standing out. It's we're all doing this together. I think that can take some of the pressure off too. I think you have to kind of see where your child's at, but we haven't had many kids historically who don't want to dress up. That being said, we did have one kid today who said he doesn't really like to wear a costume. But I was like, sometimes you don't even have to fully wear a costume. And we talked about his favorite color, which is purple. I said, you could just wear all purple and say, I'm purple. And that is a costume. So I love that we can be creative with it. And he was like, I could be purple. And there's no wrong way to be purple. And, he has purple things. So it doesn't stretch him too far. And he still got to participate and not avoid. So I think we're always trying to figure out, is this avoidance because of discomfort? Or is this trouble coming up with something? Or is this avoidance because of uncertainty? But typically, almost all of our kids have loved to dress up. I think the act of say trick or treat might be the hard thing or the big parties. But kids love to be something else and dress up and be silly. I think face paint can be really hard for kids. A lot of kids, not just kids with anxiety, but I think that can sometimes be a bit much. So just minimize it if it feels too much. But let them wear it ahead of time at home and play around so it feels like something you want to wear. I feel like I've seen, and you probably have too, kids who walk around in costumes all year long. Because it's their favorite thing. So I feel like if you just kind of let that flow, that can help a lot of times to get them excited. I think as caregivers, don't be upset if they change their mind and want to be something else, and you have that something else at home. That's okay too. I think the goal is to keep it really kid focused and fun. I think when we make bravery fun, it's just easier to meet those goals. So not too much, don't overload them. maybe not too many events, maybe not for too long, and flexibility about what they are. I think those are probably one of my big tips to help it be a successful Halloween.
And then in terms for any parents who are at home and their kids have got SM and they're thinking about how to gear up and practice the trick or treat, what would be your advice to caregivers out there to start that conversation or even start that practice?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what I typically would do is, I love scripts. So we usually write it out about what is expected to say, and then we start practicing. We practice without the costume on, without making a big deal, and then we start practicing more of like, what's it like at the door? What's going to happen? This week is some of the activities that we did is we made little pumpkins and we made like little bags just to practice saying trick or treat with a little script on there. So again, a little script can be really helpful in reviewing it many times, and you can just practice a few times a day of what you say for it. So they're really prepared and ready. So by the time that day comes, they already know what to say. They've said trick or treat 100 times already, and they know what they're supposed to get. We started laughing over some of the things that they may get too, which I thought was really funny. Like it might be a gummy candy, it might be chocolate. I have a family that gives out potatoes as their funny gift, which I find hilarious. Like actual potatoes.
So good.
It's just so good, and it's so outside the norm. But you tell kids that there's all these different possibilities, and they laugh. They think it's funny, and they look forward to the adventure of looking for new things. So practice at home, practice often. Just make it fun and silly. You can be different people at the door, opening, so that they get excited to see what's actually going to happen.
And used to different scenarios that might come up.
Yeah, we do a lot of that kind of role playing and thinking about it to make it funny. In therapy, one of the things we do really is work on knocking on doors also. So our kids in treatment are actually they practice the confidence of being able to knock on a door. So I think they're a little prepared. So I would prepare other kids for that too.
And I know you've got a very exciting event coming up this Saturday, Confident Crew. Tell us a little bit about what Confident Crew has in store for the kids this Saturday.
So we have these one-day intensives that we run a few times a year, and we try to have them be around big events, so big holidays, big vacations, where we know kids are going to have a lot of expectations kind of placed on them, or possibly a lot of anxiety. So we call them booster sessions, really. And it's just like a camp day, one day. This one is Halloween themed. And we'll do a lot of different activities. A lot of them are just socializing with other kids and new adults, new counselors that we have. We're actually going to be in a new space this time because we need a bigger space. So it's a new, kind of like a playroom.
So excited to be in a bigger space.
That's really spacious for all of us. And that way the kids can be working in different areas in this room. And the space itself just is like a kid's, playground. There's little areas and spaces for all this other stuff. But the room we're in is really cute. We're going to decorate it ahead of time. And then we usually do free play. Then we lead into a morning meeting and answering questions. We do some exposures. There's a lot of snack and mealtime, just like they would have in school, because we want to work on eating around others and the socialization around it. We incorporate movement breaks, and of course, we go trick-or-treating to get that practice in a group. And then we actually set up the places we go. We have a map to ensure they have candy that's ready for our kids so that they don't come away empty-handed.
Having run the Halloween Confident Crew, I would say it's one of my favorite that we do. I would say that one and the Christmas one, but the Halloween one is just so fun because the kids are just so amped up, as are the counselors, and the talking is just becomes so breezy almost because they're having such a good time that the anxiety, you can see that anxiety is much more lower than it would be otherwise when we're in kind of more situations that aren't so centered around holidays, and especially ones that involve so much candy.
Yeah. I mean, we're not feeding them this many candy or giving it to them to take home like at the other events. And even the one where they're going to do presentations, they usually do a presentation. This one is really about what their costume is and why they like it and how they got the idea. So it's all related, which I love. So it's helping them speak about why they're making certain decisions or how they got the idea or who helped them get it together. And then we have some older kids who are also coming and they will be doing different things. Harder, a little more presentation based where they're creating something and presenting to the bigger group, which I think is really fun for them too.
It's also really nice to have those mix of age groups actually kind of together as well, because they can learn and model off each other. And actually the older ones can see how well the younger ones are doing, and the younger ones can look up to the older ones and see all the challenges that they're meeting. So it's actually really lovely when we get to blend them like that.
Yeah, and it's nice because we can separate them and then bring them together for parts of the day. So the older kids are getting harder, more complex kind of things that are a little more at their level, but also a little more school-based kind of demands and practicing that presenting. And they have so many skills. Whereas the little ones, they're working on playing and pro-social skills and really the interaction and flexibility in the context of these games, which is fun.
I'm so excited. You guys are going to have such a wonderful time this Saturday. What are you going as?
I'm just going to try to find that onesie that I was before. I don't know where it is. Something furry. I can't remember what animal I was. I think you were the giraffe.
I was the giraffe. I think it's in the top of the cupboard, the stationery cupboard.
I'm going to look. I forgot what it was, though. It wasn't a unicorn. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to find that, or I might have a skeleton costume. I am going as Morticia Adams, though, for a Halloween party if my costume arrives. And my daughter will be Wednesday. And
that's very cute.
My husband does not know he will be dressing up as Gomez. If it arrives.
So good.
We love Halloween surprises, or I'll get comfortable being uncomfortable. The other thing I wanted to say is we did get some good news about Bravery Grows, that it is out there. It has been on sale. For those of you who haven't seen it, this is the new version, and
it looks so good.
Too. And just so proud that we did this. Like this is.
I know.
It's really
every time I go into Book a Scene and see it on the shelf, it makes me so happy.
Just that to your face. So yeah, pretty excited. Yeah. Real things are happening. So happy Halloween. We hope everything goes well, and we're looking for more questions from educators and caregivers about what kind of support they would like. We're happy to answer those questions.
And if anything else comes up between now and the end of Halloween, we're happy to answer any questions on our IG that might be specific to you and your situation.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Signing off again.
Bye, everyone.